Ladies and gentlemen, 99% of people will never make it. That's not an exaggeration. That's a fact. The overwhelming majority will live their lives in quiet desperation, making excuses, blaming the system, and justifying mediocrity. They will wake up, go to jobs they hate, stay in relationships that drain them, and convince themselves that they're doing their best. But they're not. They're lying to themselves because the truth is too painful to face, the truth that they are weak, the truth that they are cowards. But what about the 1%? The ones who break free, the ones who refuse to be just another statistic in the sea of failures, the ones who take risks, make sacrifices, and actually do what needs to be done to win. Are you one of them? Or are you just another loser who talks big but never executes? I'm not here to comfort you. I'm not here to pat you on the back and tell you that everything's going to be okay, because it's not, unless you wake up. Unless you stop thinking like the 99% and start acting like the 1%. So let's get real. Let's talk about what separates the winners from the losers. What makes the 1% different? Why do they make it while the rest get left behind? Here are the 7 truths that will determine which side you end up on. Winners are obsessed, losers are interested. Winners don't try to succeed. They don't hope things will work out. They don't wish for success. They are obsessed. They breathe it. They live it. Every single thought, every single action, every single moment of their lives is dedicated to one thing: winning. They don't balance their lives. They don't waste time looking for happiness. They are locked in, fully committed, and completely consumed by their goals. Losers, on the other hand, are merely interested. They talk about success like it's a casual hobby. They say things like, "It would be nice to be rich," or "I'd love to have my own business someday." But when it comes time to put in the work, they have a million excuses. They want success as long as it's convenient, as long as they don't have to suffer for it. That's why they fail. If you're not obsessed, you will lose. That's the simple reality. Winners don't take days off. They don't waste time watching Netflix or scrolling through social media. Every second they are awake, they are moving forward. They understand that life is war, and in war, you don't stop fighting just because you're tired. You push harder. People love to talk about work-life balance. But guess what? The 1% didn't get there by balancing anything. They went all in. They sacrificed their weekends, their vacations, their comfort. They made the decision that success wasn't just a possibility, it was the only option. They were willing to give up everything because they knew that in the end, it would be worth it. Ask yourself this: are you obsessed? Are you willing to wake up earlier than everyone else? Are you willing to work harder than everyone else? Are you willing to suffer more than everyone else? If the answer is no, then stop lying to yourself. You're not part of the 1%. You're just another dreamer who will never make it. You don't get to be successful by accident. It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's not timing. It's obsession. It's an unrelenting, ruthless, and unstoppable hunger to win. If you don't have that, you might as well quit now. Fear controls the weak. The 1% control fear. Fear is the invisible cage that traps the 99% in mediocrity. It dictates their choices, limits their actions, and keeps them stuck in a life they hate. They are terrified of failure, rejection, and embarrassment. They care too much about what others think, and because of that, they never take risks. They spend their lives hiding from discomfort, avoiding pain, and waiting for the right moment that never comes. The 1% understand that fear is just an illusion. They don't let it stop them. They don't allow doubt to cripple them. They don't hesitate when it's time to take action. Do they feel fear? Of course. But they dominate it. They use it. They push forward anyway, because they know that on the other side of fear is everything they want. Losers live their lives inside their comfort zones. They wait for permission. They seek approval, and they avoid anything that makes them uneasy. Winners, they do the opposite. They throw themselves into situations where they have no choice but to adapt and overcome. They force themselves into the fire because they know that pressure creates diamonds. Think about it. Every major success story is built on taking risks. Elon Musk risked everything to build Tesla and SpaceX. Jeff Bezos left a secure job to start Amazon. The difference between the rich and the poor, the successful and the failures, the 1% and the 99% is simple. The successful took action despite fear. The failures let fear stop them. If you're scared of taking that leap, good! That means you're heading in the right direction. But if you let fear paralyze you, you're done. You will live a life of regret, looking back at all the things you should have done but didn't. The clock is ticking. Fear is your enemy. Dominate it before it dominates you. The 1% understand a simple truth. If you don't take risks, you've already lost. Playing it safe is the fastest way to guarantee failure. The world doesn't reward cowards. It rewards those who step up, face the fire, and keep going no matter what. So ask yourself, are you in control, or is fear controlling you? The 1% execute, the 99% make excuses. The reason most people never achieve anything is simple. They talk instead of act. They have a million excuses for why they aren't where they want to be. The economy's bad. I don't have the right connections. I wasn't born into money. It's all nonsense. The truth is they are just too weak to do what's necessary. The 1% don't waste time complaining. They don't sit around waiting for the perfect circumstances. They take action, period. They figure things out as they go. They understand that results come from execution, not from talking, not from planning, not from overanalyzing every little thing. Do you know why most people fail? Because they're addicted to procrastination disguised as preparation. They think they need more information, more resources, or more motivation before they can start. It's all a lie. The only way to win is to execute now, before you feel ready. Winners understand this. Losers don't. Think about the most successful people in the world. Did they wait until everything was perfect? No. They started, they made mistakes, and they adjusted. The 99% are scared of failing, so they never start. The 1% know that failure is just part of the process. Every setback is a lesson. Every mistake is a stepping stone. If you are constantly making excuses, stop. No one cares. The world doesn't care. Either you execute or you don't. Either you take control of your life or you let life control you. The choice is yours. But if you keep sitting on the sidelines, making excuses, you will wake up one day realizing you wasted your entire life. The 1% act. The 99% hesitate. That hesitation is the difference between winning and losing. What side do you want to be on? The 1% build mental toughness. The 99% stay weak. The biggest lie in today's society is that success is about talent, luck, or intelligence. None of that matters if you don't have the mental toughness to endure the journey. The 1% are relentless. They take hit after hit and keep going. The 99% get hit once and quit. That's why they fail. Mental toughness isn't something you're born with. It's something you develop through suffering. The 1% understand that discomfort is the price of greatness. They train their minds like a warrior trains for battle. They embrace hardship because they know it makes them stronger. Losers look for shortcuts. They avoid struggle. They look for the easy way out. Winners seek out challenges because they know that pressure builds strength. The gym analogy applies here. If you never push your muscles to the limit, they don't grow. The same goes for your mind. If you avoid adversity, you stay weak. The 99% crumble under pressure. The first sign of resistance, and they quit. They can't handle criticism. They can't handle rejection. They can't handle failure. That's why they never succeed. Winners, they absorb the pain, they take the hits, and they keep going. They understand that every setback is just another test of their strength. Your ability to handle pain will determine your level of success, period. If you can't endure suffering, you will never achieve anything significant. If you run from hardship, you will remain in the 99% forever. The question is, are you willing to suffer for what you want? The 1% don't just tolerate pain, they seek it out. They know that the harder the journey, the bigger the reward. If you're not willing to develop mental toughness, stop fooling yourself. You will never make it. The 1% take full responsibility, the 99% blame others. Losers love to play the blame game. They blame their parents, their boss, the government, the economy, anything and everything except themselves. They act like victims, complaining about how unfair life is while doing absolutely nothing to change their situation. That's why they fail. To the 1%, they take full responsibility for everything in their lives. No excuses, no blaming, no crying. If something isn't working, they fix it. If they fail, they own it. They don't waste time feeling sorry for themselves because they understand that success is their responsibility and no one else's. The weak will say, but it's not my fault. I was born poor. I didn't have the same opportunities. Shut up, no one cares. The world doesn't reward victims. It rewards those who take control of their circumstances and do whatever it takes to win. The 1% don't dwell on disadvantages. They use them as fuel. Think about this. Every successful person had obstacles. Every single one. Some were broke. Some had no education. Some came from broken homes, but they refused to let those things define them. They made a decision. Either they controlled their lives or life controls them. And they chose to be in control. The difference between winners and losers is mindset. If you blame others, you will always be weak. If you take responsibility, you gain power. Power to change, power to grow, power to dominate. That's what separates the 1% from the failures. If you're not where you want to be, look in the mirror. That's the person responsible, no one else. You can either cry about it or do something about it. The 1% choose to act. What will you choose? The 1% are ruthless with their time, the 99% waste it. Time is one resource you can never get back time, and the 99% waste it like they have an unlimited supply. They scroll social media, binge watch garbage, and engage in pointless conversations. Then they wonder why they're broke, miserable, and stuck in the same place year after year. The 1%. They guard their time like a hawk. Every second is accounted for. They don't entertain distractions. They don't waste time on nonsense. They use every hour to move closer to their goals because they understand that time lost is success lost. Look at your daily routine. Be honest. How much of your time is spent on productive, high-impact activities? Probably very little. The 99% make excuses like, I don't have time. Really? How much time did you spend watching TV this week? How much time did you waste on your phone? The truth is, you do have time. You're just using it like an idiot. Winners schedule their days down to the minute. They cut out everything that doesn't serve their mission. They don't waste time with negative people. They don't engage in mindless entertainment. They don't procrastinate. They work, they grind, they execute every single day. If you want to know whether someone will be successful, just look at how they spend their time. The 99% waste it, the 1% maximize it. Success is about priorities, and if you're not willing to prioritize winning, then don't expect to be part of the elite. Time is the great equalizer. Everyone gets the same 24 hours. The difference is what you do with them. Are you investing your time, or are you throwing it away like the rest of the failures? The 1% never quit, the 99% give up. Here's the brutal truth. Most people will never make it because they are weak. The moment things get hard, they quit. The moment they experience failure, they fold. That's why they remain average. That's why they die with regret. The 1%. They never quit, ever. No matter how many times they fail, no matter how many setbacks they face, they keep going. They don't let rejection, criticism, or temporary defeat stop them. They push forward with an unstoppable, relentless drive. Failure is part of the process. It's unavoidable. You will get knocked down. You will experience pain. You will have moments where everything seems hopeless. The difference is, winners get back up. Losers stay down. That's why only 1% make it to the top. But think about any successful person you admire. They all went through hell. They all failed multiple times. The difference, they refused to quit. Thomas Edison failed 10,000 times before inventing the light bulb. Michael Jordan was cut from his high school basketball team. The common denominator, they kept going. Most people lack that resilience. They quit when it gets tough. They make excuses. They tell themselves it wasn't meant to be. That's why they stay in the 99%. The 1% understand that the only real failure is quitting. Everything else is just a lesson. If you want to be successful, burn the bridge behind you. Make quitting impossible. Decide that you will win no matter what. Because if you're not willing to go all the way, then don't bother starting. Ladies and gentlemen, you've now heard the truth. The brutal, ugly, uncomfortable truth. 99% of people will never make it. Not because they can't, but because they won't. They are too scared, too weak, too lazy. They will spend their lives making excuses, avoiding risk, and blaming others for their failures. But you don't have to be one of them. You have a choice. Right now, in this moment, you can decide to step up, to be relentless, to dominate, to refuse to be average. But make no mistake, this road isn't easy. It requires obsession. It requires sacrifice. It requires pain. Success doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't care about your background. It only cares about one thing. Are you willing to do what the 99% won't? Are you willing to suffer? Are you willing to take risks? Are you willing to work harder than everyone else? If not, then accept your place in mediocrity and stop wasting time pretending you want success. But if you are that 1%, if you are willing to go all in, if you are willing to push through fear, execute without excuses, build unbreakable mental toughness, take full responsibility, guard your time, and never quit, then welcome to the top. Because while the 99% are busy dreaming, you will be out there taking what's yours. Now the question remains, Are you the 1%? Or will you join the fears who live and die as nothing? The choice is yours.